Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim, a fairly average mum, and today I thought I'd film another get ready with my story time. So let's get cracking. Hiya, so I'm filming this on Thursday. It's my day off, so I'm having a really nice day. I had a bit of a lie-in. Well, I say lie-in, I didn't get up till 8:30. And then I have potted around, watched a bit of YouTube, that kind of thing. And yeah, just generally having a nice day. I'm going out in a little while because I want to have a look around the shops. So while I'm doing that, I'll see what I can pick up, do a few hauls and things for my channel. But in the meantime, I thought I need to put my makeup on. And I've also got quite a lot of new makeup items that I'm quite excited to try. So I thought I'll film one of these, you know. There's always loads of stories that have happened. But I've been thinking a bit about my public transport kind of related stories. So I thought I'd tell you some of those. Have I brought my hair clip? I have. Right, okay, I'll clip my hair up. And then I'll show you what I'm going to slap onto my face. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to put on my face is this Wren. I haven't just got this. I've had this quite a while. I'm trying to use it up because it might go out of date and I don't want it to do that because it's quite an expensive one. I didn't pay any sort of high price for it. It came in one of my beauty subscription boxes, but I can't for the life of me remember which one now. So I'm going to pop a bit of this on. I really like it. It's dead creamy. So that's it there. I'll just put a bit on my face. Oh, and I have to apologise. I've got like a scab on my top lip. I haven't been fighting or anything. It's just a cold sore that I've, you know, it's dried up now. It's pretty much gone. But I use these. Just dropping things on the floor. They're not sponsoring this video in any way, but I just saw them on side. I thought I'll tell you what I use. They're these Compeed patches. It says they're invisible. No, they're not. The kids spot them a mile off when I'm at the nursery, so I don't wear them when I'm at work. I put one on an evening. As soon as I get home, I whack one on, leave it on overnight, and then the next morning, they're more or less dried up, so they're great. You know, it's just one of them things. I've got the virus, so that's it now, isn't it? You know, I'll be getting them for the rest of my life. So I'll whack a bit of this on. Okay, so I get a lot of public transport because I don't drive. There's a reason for that. I'm pants at it, right? Absolutely pants at it. I had quite a lot of lessons in the past. Oh, by the way, I've washed my hands. I had quite a lot of lessons in the past. But I was just absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I think part of the problem is that I can't coordinate when I'm thinking about it. I mean, obviously I can walk and pick things up and stuff, but while I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to be doing, I can't coordinate all my limbs together. I can't even do a star jump because one of my legs refuses to cooperate at the point when I'm doing it, right? So one leg will just sort of hop on the spot while I'm trying to do star jumps. So I'm absolutely pants at sort of thinking about coordinating my limbs in any sort of meaningful way. So because of that, I'm rubbish at driving. Okay, next up, I'm going to use this, and I've never tried it before. This also came in a beauty subscription box. It's a primer by Jekka Black. I've got a drink because my mouth's as dry as out. Okay, so I'll try a bit of this. So, yeah, I had all these lessons. I was absolutely rubbish at it. I had the car on the causeway more than I had it on the road. Do you know what I mean? This is actually more like a moisturiser looking at it, but double moisture, great. So I sort of gave up driving or attempting to learn to drive. And you're all safer for that fact because honestly, I was really, really rubbish at it. You wouldn't have wanted to meet me on a road. Honestly, never. Right, because I was so rubbish at it. And like I say, with hindsight, maybe if I'd started to learn in an automatic, then I might have been able to do it. But I'm getting a bit long in the tooth now, and I've always got public transport, so I'm not bothered about getting on the buses and trains. It's never stopped me from going anywhere that I wanted to go, really. Or very few places it stops me from going. So I've just always caught public transport. There are some drawbacks to catching public transport. Like, for example, right, when my son were first going to universities for interviews and stuff, he wanted to go to London. He was desperate to go to London. I think he just liked the idea of being in London. So he went for this interview at the university. What am I putting on next? All right. So next up, I'm going to use this. I'm sure you've all seen it before. It's a Primark foundation. It's slightly too heavy coverage for me, so I have to put it on sort of thinly, if you see what I mean. And I'm also going to use, like I say, this isn't new to me, this new water egg, which came in a box that I got from B&M, right, after Christmas in the sale. So I'm going to give this a go. Never used this before. Feels quite nice now I've added water to it. So yeah, when my son were going down there, we were pretty skinned. I mean, I brought up the kids skin. We were absolutely skinned, because when you've got 4 kids, no matter how many hours you work, have I got a mirror? Yes, I have. No matter how many hours you work, you've got to divvy up the money between all those people. So I were always skinned, you know, being on my own and stuff. So we decided that we would go, I'm just going to try and dab some of this on, down to London by National Express, because that was the cheapest way for us to get there. I would have loved to have gone on the train, but at the time I was so skint, I didn't have the money. Try to cover up a bit of this. It's not going to cover it completely, but at least it'll tone it down a bit. So we went on National Express. Now, I'd got sort of a slip disc at the time. I had to work so hard to get that slip disc put back. I did physio every single day, twice a day myself, and more if I could fit it in, just to get it put back, and it actually works. I didn't need to have any ops or anything. I was very motivated to get it put back in, you know, and I know a lot of people can't do that. You know, it's too bad that they can do that, so they might have to have operations. But in my case, I managed to get it back in by just doing physio. But anyway, cut a long story short, although I've already made it a long story, we get on this National Express coach to go down to London. Now, the coach said it was going to be 5¼ hours there and about 5 hours coming back, because we're coming back later in the day. So we booked onto it. On the way down there, we just sat on any seat. I were in agony. My back were absolutely killing me, because I want a lot of leg room, so I'm trying to shift and shuffle to stop my back from hurting me. I'll tell you a brief story about while we were there as well. We went to the university and went to the cafe, because I knew I was going to have to sit for quite a while my son were having interviews and a look round and things like that. So we went to the cafe, and I went up to the counter. This is before my son had to go for his interview, to get us both a drink. Now, this is in London. You've probably noticed I've got quite a broad Yorkshire accent. Okay. You know, I don't think I'm going to do anything to disguise it. But I went up to the counter and asked the lady for a cup of tea and a can of Coke. So I just said, "Excuse me, can I have a cup of tea and a can of Coke, please?" She had no clue what I was saying. No clue, right? I don't think she'd ever heard a Yorkshire accent so bad in her life, right? So she just looked at me. So I said it again, hoping, more slowly, hoping that she'd cotton on what I was saying. No clue. At the finish, I had to point to the things that I wanted. I don't even think she thought I was speaking English, right? I genuinely don't think she thought I was speaking English. So after my son had gone for his interview and I drunk my cup of tea, I went back up to the counter to ask for another drink. The woman wasn't even going to try and understand what I was saying, right? I could hear her talking. I understood what she was saying, because she had a southern accent, you know, like a London accent. But like, London accents are quite often on the TV and things, aren't they? Maybe it's not so much Yorkshire. So I knew she was speaking, you know, English with a southern accent. But when I went back up, she wasn't even going to try and attempt to understand what I said. So she just held up an empty cup and a can of Coke, right? As if to say, which one? So I pointed at the empty cup and she got me a pot of tea, right? So, but anyway, on the way back, having travelled already across London, we get on this, the underground. So we had to get 3, are they called trains, the underground? I don't know. Anyway, 3 of those that go through the underground to get to his university that he ended up going to, and 3 back. So on the way back, it's packed on the platform and everything, and the train pulls in, and all these people surge forward to get on. So I get on, I'm one of the last people on, and I turn to look and realise my son hasn't managed to get on. So I lunge forward, because I can hear it beeping like the doors are about to close, lunge forward, grab him and pull him onto the train. The problem is, right, as I pulled him back, the doors were closing. My hair is stuck like this through the doors of the train on the underground. Right, okay. I had to travel 2 stops like that, because the first stop, I'm moving like this the whole time, right, as the train's moving. The first stop, the doors on the other side of the train opened, and then the next stop, these doors opened and I released my hair. I thought, if this train crashes, I'm going to be scalped. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, I did manage to release my hair. So we got back. I'm just trying to see whether I've actually covered my face. Yeah, sort of. After a fashion. So we got back to where we got on the National Express, and I said to my son, our Jake, I said, can you look, pet, see if there's, when we go on, see if there's any seats with more leg room. So he said, yeah. And he walks down the coach, and he realises that the back seat has got quite a bit more leg room. So he sat down there, because you don't have allocated seats there, or certainly you didn't at that time, right? What else am I going to put on? Oh, this is something I want to try. Okay, I got this in a beauty box recently. This is by Alekia Beauty, and it's just a beautiful pink colour. So I want to try it on my cheeks. I think it's supposed to be a highlighter, but I don't know if it was one of them ones, or an illuminator. I don't know if it's one of them ones you're supposed to put on under your foundation, but I am going to try it as if it were like a blush / highlighter. Okay, so I'll show you it. It's really, really nice. Okay, I'll just pop that back there. That's it. It looks suspiciously like nail varnish. It really does. Let's hope it's not, otherwise I'm going to be taking weeks getting it off my face. Anyway, let's just dab a bit of this on. So we sit on the back seat of this National Express coach going back up north. The problem was, we quickly realised, as everybody sort of boards and the train and the coach pulls out, that we were right next to the toilet door. But not only were we right next to the toilet door were broken, so there were no lock on it. So you could go inside and hold it closed, which is what everybody were doing. But as soon as you came out of it, the door was swinging backwards and forwards, open and shut, open and shut, open and shut, all the way back up north, right, to where we lived, back into Bradford. And for these 5 hours, people were using that toilet, not just for a wee. Do you know what I mean? It were awful. The whole coach smelt for a start, but it were particularly bad where we were sitting. I have to say we were falling about laughing at the finish because it was so ridiculous. You'd just think, right, nobody else on this coach can possibly need to use this toilet. And a whole load of other people that you're not seen before would start using it. It were crackers, honestly. So there are drawbacks to public transport like that. I'm quite liking this, you know. It's quite nice. Yeah, I don't know whether I've blended it in very well, but I really, really like it. It's got a really pretty colour. I'm going to try a bit on my head. Why not? You only live once, Kim. Right, so I'll pop a bit up here. So, yeah, so that was the journey. Anyway, got the place at university, and that was that, you know. So it was worth it. But I have to say, by the time I got back, I was absolutely shattered. So was my son. Really, really shattered. It had been a very long day. Worth it, but a very, very long day. Like I say, if I'd had more money, I'd have gone by train. It'd have been a heck of a lot quicker and a lot more pleasant, the journey. Right, I've used what I need of this, but I've still got absolutely stacks on my hands, so I'm going to have to find something to wipe it off. Here we go, I've got this. Let's wipe it off. Oh, it's slightly stained to my hand, but never mind, I'll get it off later. Okay, what am I going to do next? Oh, I wanted to try this. Sorry, there were an alarm going past. Which is a NYX eyebrow pencil. So I'm going to try this because I've tried it a few times before, but I wanted to show you what I meant. it's as near to the Be Perfect one, which is the one I absolutely love, that I got in a beauty subscription box but I haven't been able to get anywhere. So I'm going to give this one a go for you today. For me today. Right, okay. It's really hard. It's not as hard as the Be Perfect one. I did prefer that, but I don't mind this at all. So I just draw sort of individual hairs on. I'm not going to do them too dark today because I'm only going out shopping. I'm not going out, you know, clubbing or out like that. Not that I ever go out clubbing, but anyway. Okay, so part of me catching buses and things is because in the past I've always seemed to work 2 bus rides away from wherever I've lived. It was just a thing. I didn't seem to be able to get a job that I wanted really close to home until now, right? So, which I'm really pleased about. But in the past, I've always sort of worked 2 bus rides away. So 2 buses there, 2 buses home every single day while I was going to work. Now, because I'd be sitting on these buses for maybe an hour on a morning, maybe an hour on a night, going to and from work, I just got into the habit of falling asleep on the bus. Like, not accidentally. I were planning to do it because it would add another 2 hours. I'm just putting the lid down there. It'd add another 2 hours to me sleeping. So I'd get on the bus and I'd be armed with like a cardigan or a jumper in my bag, which I would whip out as soon as the bus pulled out, roll up, put my head on, right, fall asleep against the window. You can't do that if you're on an aisle seat, but you can do it if you're on a window seat. So I would deliberately, and I've done for years, deliberately fall asleep on the bus if I'm on my own. If I'm with company, I don't do that because you're chatting and stuff, aren't you? You know what I mean? I don't seem to be doing these eyebrows very straight, and I also feel like I've got a blob on that one. But anyway, keep persevering, Kim. Hope it'll pay off. Let's wipe a bit from under that. So yeah, I deliberately fall asleep on buses. You know, if you know me personally, you've probably seen me asleep on a bus lots of times. Do you know what I mean? Because I do it all the time. Not now, because like I say, I'm within walking distance of work. But, you know, while I've ever had a job 2 bus rides away, I would definitely deliberately fall asleep. Now, there are problems to that, right? In that, sometimes I've missed my stop. Right, and one time, a notable time in particular, we're on an express bus going home. And the thing about an express bus is it's got limited stops. So this particular bus would only stop in each town, and then there were an occasional stop halfway between each town. So my stop was the first stop, my town was the first stop. I woke up pulling out of the second town and had to stay on the bus till I got to the 3rd town because there were no more bus stops. Get off there and catch the bus going back, all the way back to my town. Crazy, honestly. Didn't stop me from falling asleep on buses. Not at all. Not at all. If I can go to sleep, I will. You know, my ex-husband were in army. And he always used to say, why stand when you can sit? Why sit when you can lie down? And I always think, you know, why stay awake if you can fall asleep, right? That's my sort of attitude to the thing. I haven't done these eyebrows very well, but I don't want to darken them up anymore because I'm only going shopping. I'll faff around with them when I get off camera. Right, I'm excited to try the next thing, which is a palette by Velvet 59 that I got in one of my beauty subscription boxes. It will look incredible. It's called Beverly Hills Doll, and these are the colours which I've only ever swatched on my channel. So I'm going to use these 3 colours here, and I've got 2 brushes, but I have no clue where I got them from. Sorry about that. They're clean though. That's slightly stained, but they are both clean. So I'm going to use this palest one here all over my upper eyelid. This one in my crease, and this one on the outside part of my upper eyelid and slightly underneath. Right, it's a 3 colour look. A bit, you know, it's a bit more interesting for me, that. So we'll start with this pale one. So yeah, I'm always falling asleep on the bus. And it's really nice, it's comfy, it rocks you to sleep while you're travelling. You know, kids, when they get in cars and stuff, immediately fall asleep. I'm the same. I could sleep on a washing line, mate. Honestly, my mother always used to say that. You know, I was just like, I always could sleep really well. I still can. I get into bed and I'm out. Immediately I lie down, I'm gone. And then I only have to get up, you know, to pay a visit through night. Otherwise I'll sleep till my alarm goes off. Or until I've run out of sleeping, as I like to call it. You know, when you've slept the clock round, 12 hours later, I'll eventually like wake up. So yeah, I'm a really, really good sleeper. I'm very, very lucky in that respect, because I know a lot of people have got problems sleeping. I'm not one of them. My problem is that there's not enough hours in a day for me to sleep all that I would like to sleep. So occasionally as well, going on public transport, I've got lost, right? So I've moved around an awful lot in my life, an awful lot. And before we had phones with Google Maps on them, you know, the problem was finding the buses that went near to your house. That used to be a bit of an issue. So about 3 times a year, I used to give my kids, as they were like teenagers and stuff, I used to give them some money to go get clothes, rather than me buying them clothes that they would never want to wear, right, at all. Because when you're a teenager, you want the things that other people have got and that you think are nice. So rather than me try and buy them clothes, I would take them out, give them a bit of money, and they'd all go around. We'd go around Leeds or what have you, and they'd buy some clothes. Right, next I'm going to use the same brush, because I'm keeping this one clean so I can sort of try and blend them all together. I'm going to use this slightly more orangey one in my crease. Okay, so this brush is a bit big, to be honest. So I'd take them out to Leeds about 3 times a year, and we'd go shopping. They'd all have, say, 50, 100 quid, something like that, you know, to go shopping, depending on what I'd got, you know, that I'd saved up and stuff. And they'd go shopping, I'd go shopping with them. We'd make a day of it. We'd go have dinner out. We'd go have a couple of coffees, things like that. We just had a lovely time going round. And they'd all buy the clothes, and that'd keep them going for a while. So this one particular day, we'd recently moved to a different house. I don't know why I keep putting these on my lower eyelid, but anyway, I have been. Now, we'd recently moved to another house. And so I'd taken them out shopping, and we caught a bus back. It was sort of late in the day. It must have been about 6 o'clock on this Saturday. And the buses were starting to become less frequent at the end of this day. Right, I'm going to use this darker one on my outer upper eyelid and underneath my eye. So, in fact, I might move it a bit cross as well. Right, so I actually really like these. These are really nice eyeshadows. They're not my normal colours, peachy ones, but I'm actually really enjoying them. So, yeah, we get on this bus that doesn't take us directly to where we live, because the bus directly to where our new house was had stopped running, or it were every hour, and we weren't anywhere near the time that you would catch this bus. Okay, so we get on this other bus that takes you along a main road that we knew we could walk down a road from this main road, and it would bring us to where we lived. We're about a 10-15 minute walk down. Okay, I'm going to try and blend these together now, okay? But I really, really like them. Like I say, they're very peachy, but I really like them. We get on the bus, and sort of somewhere along this really long road near to where we lived, 10-15 minutes away, we decided, we think we're near to where we should be, we'll get off. So we get off, got all these bags of shopping, everybody's shattered, we've been out all day. I was wearing, at the time I used to wear really high shoes all the time, can't wear them now, too old, right, my feet won't stand it. But at that time, I used to wear high shoes all the time. So I had on maybe a 5 or 6 inch shoe, right, with a bit of a platform to make it easier to walk in. But nonetheless, a 5 or 6 inch heel on this shoe. So anyway, right, we're looking around. We can't decide which road is going to take us down to where we live. Right, no clue at all. So it's raining. We're shattered. I've got these shoes on. We're all carrying bags and stuff. So I see 2 guys walking up the road towards where we were. And so I think, oh, they'll be able to tell us how to get down to our road. Right. So I shout them. Excuse me, love. Right, okay, what am I putting on next? Oh, next I'm going to put on, I've sort of blended that. I don't know what you think of it. I think it's all right, though. I really like that eye makeup. Where's my mascara that I chose? Oh, there it is. It's a teeny tiny one. So I'm going to try this Lashtopia by Benefit that I've had ages but never used. So I'm going to try this out. I'm determined to try some of these new things. Right, okay. It's got quite a fluffy brush, so hopefully it'll be nice. So I shout to these guys, excuse me, love, step forward. Don't realise there's like a ridge, like a curb thing, and tripped over the ridge. So not only am I now falling in the street, I've just drawn attention to myself with these two guys before doing it. Excuse me, crash, right? So I smacked my forehead, completely went. I was like a felled tree, right? Crashed down to the floor, smacked my forehead off the floor. So I'm lying on a wet floor with this. My head is now bleeding because I've grazed it as I've gone down with an egg on it, right? And these guys came running over. My kids are running over, right, to see what had happened to me, you know, am I all right and stuff. I was absolutely mortified. It wasn't that I were in pain. It wasn't anything. I burst into tears because I was so embarrassed. I burst into tears. I'm sat there trying to mop the blood off my head, which is now, because it's raining, is now running down my face. I had to walk around for about 2 weeks afterwards with a full-on graze on my face. I got so used to answering people, what's happened to you? That I started telling people, oh, I fell. Luckily, my face broke my fall, right? Honestly, it was shockingly bad. My kids were really upset for me, they were. These guys did direct us, by the way. But once we got in the house, I'm saying I'm fine. I did have an egg like that with a massive graze on it. Crazy, honestly. But yeah, you can get lost quite a bit on buses, you know. I've got lost more than once. And I've got on the wrong train before as well. We tried to get the train back to where would I try to go? Dewsbury from Huddersfield. And I ended up getting on the train to Wakefield. So I went all the way to Wakefield and then I had to go all the way back again and then get on my train. So yeah, I've got on the wrong bit of public transport before, gone the wrong place, got lost, all sorts of stuff. But it's just part of the drama of travelling. You also see quite a lot of stuff like other people's dramas when you're on there. And for the most part, if a drama starts, I've learned, don't make eye contact. Another alarm going past. I've learned, don't make eye contact. Because frequently on public transport, when somebody is creating or kicking off, they want to tell the world what the problem is, right? And if you make eye contact, you're the focus. They're going to tell you. It's usually the people that are causing a problem that want to, you know, tell every single other person why they're creating a problem and what have you. You know, like for example, I was once getting on a train going home from Bradford to where I live now. And I only had to get 2 stops along the road. But I were really near, I lived quite near to where the train station was. So I got on the train coming home from work and it was the end of the day. And you know, like when you sit down, you finally sit down, your whole body goes, oh, thank goodness, I'd done that. So I'm sat on this train and it's only like 5 minutes before the train is due to pull out. So I'm messing around on my phone, faffing, right? You know, not looking at anything, just looking at anything to sort of occupy myself. And all of a sudden, from back of the train, I'm about 2 carriages down, but it was one of those ones that are quite open, so you could see all the way down the train. And I'm sitting on a 6-seater because the train's quite empty. So anyway, there's all this commotion coming from further down the train. So anyway, all this commotion comes from further down. And I realised that what were happening was a guy had run for the train just as the conductor had closed all the doors down the train. So we're only his door at the back, you know, that he was standing on. This guy had got half onto the train and were holding the train for his girlfriend / wife, who hadn't managed to make it yet to the train. So I've gathered this because the conductor, is that what they're called when they walk up and down a train? I think so. Right, the conductor was saying, either get on or get off. You can't hold up the train. And I got his point because, you know, I'm sure you know it. If one train's held up, it can cause loads of problems for other trains down the line. I'm going to wait for this to sort of set a bit and I'm going to try another coat of it on. But in the meantime, I have got a lip here. What have I got? Okay, so I'm going to use a colour out of this palette that I've never used before. So this is a YSL one that I got in Look Incredible box. I didn't go out and pay for this. But it's got this sort of pinky colour here that I've never used. So I'm going to try that. It's sort of a pinky peach colour. And I thought it might go with some of these other colours. So yeah, right. So eventually... Right, so this guy comes down the train with said girlfriend / wife and sits in the 6-seater across the aisle from me and immediately starts shouting about this guy and one thing and another. And I'm thinking, don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact. You're going to be the focus of this now, right? So I'm looking out my window, scrolling on my phone and stuff, trying desperately not to end up being engaged in this conversation. And the conductor guy, the guy that walks me down the train, is staying put at the back of the train, right? Not moving at all. Right, so is this going to be really pink? Please don't let this be really pink. Is it even showing up, that? Oh my goodness, it's very light. Very, very light. I kind of like it, but I think I might need something that's a bit more, sort of a bit darker to fill in my lips. It'll be okay for today, but I think it's very pale for me. I might be inclined to mix it with something rather than just have this. Is it even matching my eyes? Do I want to mix it with a bit of red? I'm going to mix it with a bit of this sort of reddy colour. Try and mix them together. See whether it gives me a bit more pigment. The true red colour, which is there. I haven't used that either, but I'm going to give it a go. Right, I'm going to mix them together. So the conductor's not moving. So anyway, we move down the two stations, and I get up to get off the train. This is my station. This couple didn't get up at all. So anyway, I'm standing by the doors, waiting for the light to go green. Right, because on the doors, they're either red, and then when he pulls into a platform, the green light comes on, you press it and the doors open. I'm sure you all know, I'm talking to you like silly, but you know, that is the sort of the process. It looks a bit better with a bit of red added into it. I think that's the way I'd use it, but I'm going to try a bit more of my mascara on. Try and put another layer of that on, darken up my eyelashes, if I can ever find the mascara, which I dropped on the floor. Right, okay. So I'm standing there and the doors don't open. There's no light coming on, none of the doors are open. So I'm looking down that way, and I can see the doors, each one, there's people waiting. Their doors aren't opening either, and I thought maybe it were my fault, it were a faulty door of mine, until I realised everybody's standing there, nobody's moving. Right, I thought, what on earth's going on? Then suddenly out of the ticket office walks 2 transport cops. Right, now it turns out on this particular station, there's like this thing outside. It looks like a caravan. It's not a caravan, Kim, come on, right. Like a trailer, right. And it's for the transport police. Turns out 2 of them were actually in it, right. At least 2 of them were in that trailer thing. And so this guy, the conductor, had obviously radioed ahead to transport police about this couple, and so they walked to the back doors of the train, board the train, walked straight past me down to this couple, and they said something, I don't know what they said to him, but it were ever so quiet. And then all of a sudden this guy stands up and starts kicking off. So they immediately grab him, they've got one arm behind his back, and they like more or less frog march him off the train. His girlfriend / wife's following along behind, shouting and swearing and carrying on, right? Because that wasn't their stop. You know what I mean? And clearly they did not want to be approached by the transport police. But goodness me, I've no idea what happened to them afterwards. That's all I knew of it. And then shortly after they'd been taken off, the doors opened and we all, you know, sort of got off, and that were that. I went home. But yeah, you see, you miss all that if you get a car. You know, you miss all these dramas and stuff. I'll just finish putting this on and then I'll tell you what I think of these makeup items. Okay, that'll have to do for today. Like I say, I'm only going shopping. I'm just going to have another drink because I'm thirsty. Okay, so what do I think of these? This mascara, I think, will get better over time. Right, it feels okay. It feels really nice. It's nice to put on, but I think it'll be better over time. You know, after you've had it a couple of weeks and all of a sudden you can put lashings of it on. I think it's going to be one of those. I absolutely love this Alekia Beauty thing. I don't know how well I've blended it, but I just found the colour of that I absolutely love. I'm super pleased with that one. That's like a favourite now. My palette, I absolutely love. Now, I think I'm going to struggle. A couple of ladies said to me when I showed this, put these on when I'm wearing a green top, but I don't know whether they're going to be my kind of thing, but I absolutely love the consistency of these. And I also quite like the peachy colour. It's not something I would ever go out and buy. And that's what I love about these boxes, you know, getting beauty subscription boxes, is sometimes you end up with stuff that you really love, but that you would never go out and buy. So that Velvet 59 palette, I absolutely love. Me, different colours in the YSL, I've learned how to, you know, how I would use them is probably mixing the colours, because the problem is with some of them, they are very, very sort of solid colours. Now, it's got quite a light consistency to it, so they're not going to be super dark on, but I think I'll mix them in future. I think that's how I'm going to use that, because I'm not getting enough use out of it. And, you know, it's an expensive thing, although I didn't pay the price for it. And I absolutely love my eyebrow pencil. All right, I didn't do a good job of my eyebrows today, but I think this is as good as I'm going to get at the moment. So very happy with that. And I quite like this. It's more like a moisturiser to me than a primer, but I am happy to double moisturise. So I think that's all my new things I've tried. Yeah, and I think that's everything for today. If you've liked this video, please give us a like. It really helps us out. And if you like this kind of content, you might want to consider subscribing. I've left all my contact details in the description box just in case you want to contact me. And I'd really appreciate some advice on this peachy colour. Does it suit me? Do I look pants in it? You know, I'd really appreciate some comments telling me what you think of it. And thank you very much for taking a few moments out of your day to spend with me. Bye!